The goal of this video is to show a pattern on these ghost number cubes from 1, the proportion of, for instance, the central ghost number 20 equaling the outer ghost number 20, dividing into themselves 1 time, and then 2 times, and then 3 times, and then 4 times, and then 5 times, and then 6 times, and then 7 times, then 8 times, then 9 times, and an alternative 8 times. And the reason that's an alternative is because these are using 2 totally different types of sets of ghost number cubes. This is what I call the protonormal. They use the faces and the edges, which are the false corners of the cube, to give the normal corners of a normal, what I would call a normal magic ghost number cube, the basic magic ghost number cube, where the central ghost number equals 3 divided into the 60, the outer ghost number. These divides into 1, this divides into 2, but these two combined, these two, 20 is derived from that central, the primary ghost numbers, the 6 numbers that surround the sides of the inner cube, commutative property done to them, 5 on both sides, 3 on both sides, 12 on both sides, and over at their individual corners, they all give 20, which is proportional directly, or whatever, proportional to the central ghost number. The outer and the inner ghost number are the same. This is derived from the crosswise crisscrossing the X, such as this side, this square, it's 17 on both sides. The secondary ghost number, or secondary numbers, which are orange, and they come from the primary numbers being added up and down to the corners and off to the side and everything. In this case, added. And I put these in green, 8, 17, and 15 on each of these 8 openings is 40, which is twice the central ghost number. And these 2 different individual ways, faces and edges, is the actual corners of a normal ghost number cube, which has a proportion 20 into 60 is 3 times. The inner ghost number, central ghost number 20 in the cube, the outer ghost number 60s, that divides into it 3 times. And then I mix the faces and edges, these newly discovered ways of getting proportions out of these cubes, with these types of 4 types of ghost number cubes. The ones I already documented. They start out with a hyper. This is a normal, much like that's normal for these numbers. This is a hyper, and this is a hyper for these numbers. And it's dealing with only the inner ghost numbers, the purple ones, that are derived from the primary and secondary numbers at each cubic octant of the inner cube. And the inner cube never changes in any type of form of magic ghost number cube. All these numbers are all the same, they never change. The outside can change if you add the central ghost number to the commutative property of the outer layer. But in this case, 240 is what all this Circus Box of just only the purple numbers are considered. And 60, you go from 60 faces and edges only deal with the ghost number itself. But when you go to hyper, you have to consider 3 times, just like these were considered 3 times. After the normal 25, it jumped to 75 to make sense. Well, you consider this 20s 3 times, and 3 goes into the outer ghost number 4 times. That continues the spectrum, the intertwining of the faces and the edges, and then 40 hyper magic ghost numbers. And then the corners and edges return again, drops back down to 20, goes into 100 5 times, then it jumps back up to the hyper or semi-super pairwise tri-corners that make up the 360 on sides, and 60 goes into 360 6 times, and then the Circus Box entered ghost numbers and the secondary ghost numbers combined. They make their way. The Circus Box reappears again, and 20 is considered, and it goes into 320 16 times, which numerologically is 7. And then the whole inner cube, that's the faces to the central numbers. They add up to 340, and 20 goes into 340 17 times, which is numerologically 8. Then with the central ghost number added, it's numerologically 9. And this is just an alternative to the 8 derived from the corners, the Circus Box, the whole entire Circus Box, and the super hyper form, which was the previous set of magic ghost numbers that I discovered. The magic ghost numbers that I discovered last night are just simply considering the secondary numbers crosswise in each other to create the faces for going out only and the edges going out only, and combined creates the normal of this type of variety. And so I found the pattern that fills in all the blanks that these leave. 3, 4, 6, and 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And this is the alternative to 8. And these are the crosswise quad corners. Crosswise of this super hyper. It always comes with this backbone, this foundation, I guess, that when added together creates the 480 outside, creates the 228 and all these in the purple numbers, and then that combined together creates the 480. I'm sorry that you hear someone sneezing. I have some friends over, but these are protonormal faces, protonormal edges, false corners. And this is the normal corners. This is what starts out the spectrum, going from 20 divisors at 60, or dividend divisor, to 20, and then 60, and 20, and 20 again, and 20 again, and 60. And I'm sorry again for the snoring, but so this is the pattern that I found that completes what was left out in just the 4 types of magic ghost numbers alone, without considering the orange edges to make their own crosswise additions, sums, or whatever. So thanks a lot, and